actually had some contributions from our sports MVT online community, and they wanted to get to know you a little bit better. So they sent through a few questions that we would love for you to answer. Now, to start off this conversation, we have a question from Thabo, and Thabo highlights the fact that you've recently been named as one of the 2021 Mail and Guardian 200 young South Africans in the sports category as well. Now, he would love to know what went through your mind when you found out that you had achieved this absolutely amazing achievement.
Oh, Aaron, I was quite humbled, considering how many nominations they get, and that I was wondering that, so their panel sat down and they actually at some point they were discussing my name. So I felt very humbled and of course motivated to say that if you can be recognized at this stage, it means it's a feedback to me that I'm on the right track, I'm doing something well. And so there's a good motivation going forward to say that if you can be recognized at this level, means I can also be able to go beyond and, to reach my maximum potential.
Definitely. And we would love for you to achieve many, many more things because you've got so many years ahead of you in terms of the sports industry as well. But we also received a question from Matthew. Now, Matthew simply wanted to know, in terms of your career thus far, what has been your highest achievement or the one achievement that truly stands out for you thus far in the sports industry and the work that you do?
Okay, let me think. There's a number of them. Should it be only one or can add?
Maybe you can name a few. Maybe give us like 2 or 3.
Okay. For me, firstly, it will always be to having to realize my dream of completing a PhD at the age of 30. My PhD, of course, I said it was in the subfield of sports psychology. And also having to be appointed to serve in SASCOC, the high performance psychology working group. Also, yeah, I'm still humbled by that. And then, yeah, I think last year, thirdly, I also got recognition from the Limpopo Department of Sports, Arts and Culture for recognizing my work in sports psychology. So it remains, all of them, they remain my highlights and serves as a motivation on a daily basis.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. Now, 𝗀𝗻cie sends through her question, and it simply reads as follows. She highlights the fact that you are from Mokopane in Limpopo, and she says, what are some of the biggest challenges that you had growing up that have actually motivated you to achieving the great things that you've achieved thus far?
Growing up, I think I had a very peaceful upbringing. I'm thinking, what would I consider as the challenges? Aaron, I can't think of any major challenge because I think in me, yeah, I would only think of me being at school and after knowing that I have to go to sports. I wouldn't necessarily say there were challenges, strong challenges that really inspired me or pushed me, but for me, it was just the need to want to achieve, make a mark and live my dream. That's where the internal processes that were constantly in my mind.
All right, fantastic. Now, last question. Now, this one comes through from Caitlin, and she simply wants to know about your PhD paper. She would like to know what the topic was and what exactly inspired you to pursue this particular topic.
Oh, it's a very sentimental one. Okay. All right. My topic was the impact of a mindfulness, acceptance, commitment approach, the MEC approach on the performance of softball league players. It was a case study. So for me, I chose to do softball because I played softball. I think softball played a huge role in my entire life. I wanted to say my upbringing, but I'm still involved in softball. So I'll say my entire life, softball really groomed me. I am who I am because of a lot of soft skills that I learned in softball. So when I chose, I could have chosen other sporting codes, but for me was that I want to focus specifically on this sporting code that I've known for the longest time. So yeah.
All right, beautiful. Now, to wrap up this conversation, I would love for us to focus on the Olympic Games that are currently taking place at this point in time in Tokyo, in Japan. And we saw in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro, South Africa brought home 10 medals, that being 2 gold medals, 6 silver medals, and 2 bronze medals as well. And this was the highest achievement since we received readmission in 1992. So for you as a sports psychologist and somebody who works closely with SASCOC, I would love to put you on the spot a little bit. what can we expect from our athletes at the Olympic Games? Can we maybe expect a few more gold medals and a few more silver medals possibly?
Hi, on that aspect, I'm unable to comment. I think the coaches can be the one who can be able to predict based on their overall assessment with athletes differently. Maybe one sporting coach can predict this number and the next one. But for me, all I'm hoping for is an overall representation, representing the country, going all out there to play with pride. You know that as a country, we're rallying behind them and they will absolutely do well and come back so that we celebrate them.
Absolutely fantastic. Dr. Koketjo Tsebe, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for joining us on the Sport MVT Insider. And of course, thank you for the amazing work that you do day in and day out to make sure that our athletes are performing at their absolute best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Thank you. I appreciate it. I had fun.
You're locked on to the Sport MVT Insider, a podcast for unrelenting coverage of women in sport. Thank you so much for joining me this week. I absolutely loved diving deeper into the journeys of our athletes, coaches, and administrators to get to know them a little bit better than we do. Coming up next week, we bring you another athlete, coach, or administrator, and she shares her incredible and inspiring journey with us. Keep it locked onto Sport MVT, where we celebrate women in sport.